What's good, everybody? I'm BPC, and welcome to Competitive Origins MMA. Well, Marvin, the Italian Dream Vettori, got a unanimous decision victory over Kevin Trailblazer Holland at UFC Vegas 23. Now, the question out there is, does Marvin deserve a title shot after beating the number 10th UFC middleweight? Now, obviously, it's not his fault that he faced off against number 10. He was originally scheduled to face off against number 5, Darren Till, who had to pull out last minute. And number 10, the company man, Kevin Holland did show up, on short notice to take on the fight and save the card at the end of the day. Now, when asked about, what he wants to do next, Marvin tried to state his case. He did point out that he is on a 5-fight win streak, that he accepts anybody and anytime, and he's always showing up for his fights, he's always making weight, and he's never complaining. Well, I'm not sure about the whole never complaining situation, but he does show up. He also stated that he is very dominant in his fights. And when you look at his recent fights, you can say he was pretty dominant. Now, he also stated that he gave Adesanya his closest fight, and he feels he actually won that fight still to this day. Now, maybe he did give Adesanya his closest fight. Was it as entertaining as the Kelvin Gastelum fight where Kelvin dropped him and, it was just went back and forth and it was just super entertaining? I don't think it was that entertaining, but, at the end of the day, he did give him an extremely close fight, and one of the judges actually felt he did win that fight, but, the other two felt that it was Izzy at the end of the day. But, that was obviously such a long time ago. Izzy is a completely different fighter. But then at the end of the day, Marvin is an improved fighter too. So the question is, what would happen if these two were to actually meet in the octagon in present day? Would his tactics that he utilized against Kevin Holland work against Israel Adesanya, or is Izzy's takedown defense going to be far superior? Now, in regards to Robert Whittaker, he stated that he doesn't think Robert Whittaker is hungry enough. Now, Robert Whittaker is ranked number 1, and he's been beating all the top contenders, much higher ranked individuals than compared to Marvin Vettori. But he passed on the opportunity to call out Izzy, stating that he wanted to go spend time with his family and take some time away, which, Marvin completely understood at the end of the day, but that's why he feels he's much hungrier, because he didn't jump at the opportunity and he really, really wants the opportunity. Now, Marvin has stated that he wants to sit side by side Dana White next week. He was hoping that he would get a chance to see Dana White, but he didn't get to see him. So he's trying to reach out, trying to see if he can side by side so he can watch the Robert Whittaker going up against Kelvin Gastelum fight. And other than that, he also stated that he wants to spend more time watching Competitive Origins MMA, and he thinks you guys should too. So hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and hit the like button on this video. Now, when asked about his next fight, he says he wants it for the UFC middleweight crown, which means he'd have to go through Israel, the Last Stylebender, Adesanya to get it. Now, he stated he would love to have that fight in September or October. Now, if you recall, Israel, the Last Stylebender, Adesanya faced off against Mr. Polish Power, Jan Blachowicz, early in March, and the last time Izzy fought in March, it was against Yoel Romero, in which he got the unanimous decision victory. Well, the next time he fought after March was in September, where he scored a TKO victory against Paulo Costa. Now, the UFC has been in a booking frenzy. They're trying to turn these fights over at a much higher pace. So I'm thinking that maybe Izzy wants to fight in June through August. I don't think he wants to sit on the sideline all the way through September or October. Now, if you want me to say, well, what do you have the basis off of? Well, just look at Francis Ngannou, who just won the UFC heavyweight crown against Stipe Miocic. And they tried to book him 2.5 months later to face off against Derek Lewis, and that fight was at the end of March. Izzy fought in the beginning of March. So I can see them trying to book Izzy, June, July, August, around that time frame. He wasn't too banged up against Jan Blachowicz, so I think he's going to be ready to get back out there and get back in the winning lane, if you know what I mean. So does Marvin have a case? I'm not mad at him fighting for the title. I do feel like Robert Whittaker should be next in line. Izzy was stating that if Darren Till got the win over Marvin Vettori, that he should fight for the championship belt, even though I don't think that he had compiled a record that was championship contender worthy in the middleweight division at the current moment. So has Marvin proven that he deserves it? You know, like I said, he does have the 5-fight win streak, so he is on a streak. You know, if they had him face off against Robert Whittaker, I wouldn't be mad. But if they did grant him the title shot, I wouldn't be mad either. But I do believe Robert Whittaker should be next in line. Like I said, go in the comment section below, and do you think the UFC is going to grant his wish and give it to him, or where do you basically see this going, guys? Let me know. Go to competitiveorigins.com, type in promo code MMA125 so you can get 10% off this Competitive Origins Get It Done t-shirt. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. I'm BPC, and remember, you've been competing since conception. Whether you're competing against yourself or others, Competitive Origins.